Today, I'm reviewing Warner Bros. World Abu Dhabi. This is a park that gets very little attention, but it needs to be on your radar. This is not only the UAE's best park, but it's simply one of the best parks in the world. The dark rides, theming, and attention to detail are on par with Disney or Universal. It's that exceptional. I originally budgeted only a half day here because I hadn't heard much about this park, but I quickly realized I needed more time and reworked my schedule to get 2 days here. Warner Bros. World is located on Yas Island across the street from Yas Water World and Ferrari World. The building's exterior is massive, but sort of unassuming. It looks like a Costco. You can see absolutely none of the park until you enter, and I believe it's deliberate. That makes the grand reveal all the more special. It's like when you pass under the railroad at Disneyland and gaze your eyes down Main Street for the first time. Except instead of a castle, Warner Bros. World has this gorgeous illuminated theater. And this park left no stone unturned. Queue lines are themed, ride-offs wear uniforms themed to their specific attractions, and the park uses atmospheric lighting. Most indoor parks have this dark feel, but not by choice. At Warner Bros. World, they deliberately changed the lighting to match the area. So somewhere dark and gritty like Gotham City has that really nighttime feel. Compare that to the bright and cheery Bedrock. Really, I only have 2 gripes with this park, and I want to get them out of the way now. First, capacity. While the park wasn't super busy in the days I visited, some of these rides have dreadful throughputs. It seems like the park spared no expense on the theming and show scenes, but it came at the cost of ride capacity. Many of the dark rides had sizable delays between vehicles, and they were also only running 1 train in the coasters despite the queues hovering around a half-hour mark. Again, this wasn't an issue because it wasn't too crowded the day I visited, but it become a major issue if this park receives the crowds it deserves. Second, the food is just okay. None of the meals I had blew me away, but they weren't terrible either. So I'm going to begin by just going through a park tour of just all the great rides at this park. And I'll start with Bedrock. The Flintstones themed land only has 1 attraction, but the Bedrock River Adventure is among the park's better rides. The ride is about 5 minutes long, and there isn't an inch of wasted space. You know how a lot of dark rides have scenery on one side and then dead space on the other? That doesn't happen on the River Adventure. It is 360 degrees of sights. I had to ride multiple times just to catch all the figures and animatronics. And the ride does have a drop. It's pretty modest in height, and it's comparable to the drop you have in Pirates of the Caribbean, but it does make for a nice finale. Growing up, Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote was my favorite cartoon. For that reason, I was ecstatic they got their own themed land in Dynamite Gulch. This whole area looks very reminiscent of Big Thunder Mountain, and that's hardly a bad thing. The centerpiece of Dynamite Gulch is Fast and Furry-ous, an intimate inverted coaster that's essentially a clone of Vekoma's Freedom Flyer layout. However, this one has some pluses. You have that rock work I mentioned earlier, onboard audio, and a surprisingly zippy first drop in complete darkness. Moving on from that land, you have Cartoon Junction. Like Dynamite Gulch, it's another land with a strong Looney Tunes presence. But instead of towering rockwork, Cartoon Junction feels like a quaint town with shop fronts, townhouses, and mansions. Coaster enthusiasts will probably be drawn to Tom and Jerry Swiss Cheese Spin. As you may have guessed from the name, it is a spinning coaster. More specifically, it's a Zamperla spinner, but it's unlike any of their other spinners. Basically, it looks like they chained 4 of their spinning mice cars together, and the wild mouse layout is replaced by a twisted layout that seems more suitable for a mock spinner. That sounds horrifying from a Zamperla mouse, but it's actually really smooth. The entirety of the coaster takes place in a black lit box reminiscent of Laugh Track. Except unlike Laugh Track, this one will spin a decent amount. The layout lacks any thrilling drops, but the spinning mixed with the sights yield a frenetically paced ride. In my opinion, the park's best attraction is Scooby-Doo Museum of Mysteries. Going in, I knew it was a dark ride, but I figured it would be a shooter like the Scooby-Doo dark rides that used to exist in the United States. Needless to say, I was stunned to find a trackless dark ride in the mold of Pooh's Honey Hunt. That's a comparison I do not make lightly. As I'd discover, the UAE loves trackless dark rides. Many of these rides are trackless just for the sake of it, but Scooby-Doo uses the feature as a storytelling component. Like Pooh's Honey Hunt, the vehicles travel in packs of 3, and at 3 or so points, the cars split up, much like the gang in an episode of Scooby-Doo. and each path has some unique sights, so multiple rides are in order to see them all. And then later in the ride, Scooby-Doo brings one of the cartoon's most iconic scenes to life, the hallway chase scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, consult our omniscient friend Google. Now this is why trackless ride systems exist. Cartoon Junction is home to another incredible dark ride in Ani-Mayhem. This ride is a hybrid of your screen-based shooters like Toy Story and your physical shooters like Buzz Lightyear, and it thrives at both. In fact, many scenes blend both styles of targets simultaneously. I can't tell you how awesome it is alternating between physical targets, that all react might I add, and screen-based targets. The ride was quite long too. There were at least 7 or 8 different showrooms, and my trigger finger was exhausted at the end of each ride. It's like night and day going from Cartoon Junction to Gotham City. Warner Bros. World nailed the dark and gritty atmosphere of Gotham City. This looks so much better than the Gotham Cities at the Six Flags parks. The only unintentional advantage the ones in the US have are in the graffiti department. The anchor of the area is Batman Night Flight, a robotic-armed dark ride similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. The ride's strength is undoubtedly that ride system. It's an absolute joy getting some legit thrills during such an immersive and highly themed dark ride. The first half has riders directly involved in the plot performing reconnaissance for the Caped Crusader. In the second half, you take a backseat to being as part of the plot, but it's a delightful fight scene between the Batman and the Joker, so I was perfectly happy watching. So is it better than Harry Potter? I think it comes down to which IP you prefer. Harry Potter has slightly better timing between scenes. Batman has this 1 or 2 seconds of blankness for comparison, but each scene in this ride is incredible. Next door you have the Joker Funhouse, which is without a doubt the best themed funhouse in the world. This funhouse is a legitimate pre-show, and it's filled with gags ranging from mirror mazes to sliding staircases to slides. It blew me away. As a whole, Warner Bros. World doesn't have too many flats, and quite simply it doesn't need them. But one noteworthy one is the Riddler Revolution. This disco coaster is inside a warehouse filled with fog and strobe lights. The result is one heck of a disorienting ride. The show elements elevate an already fun flat to the next level. It's a similar effect to all the Northeast enclosed scramblers. The park's biggest thrill ride, the Scarecrow Scare Raid, was actually closed for my visit, but it appears to be a next generation Zamperla air race. The final area is Metropolis, which is fittingly anchored by a Justice League dark ride, and this is the park's version of the Universal Spider-Man ride. You are taken through an epic battle between the Justice League and Warworld. Like Batman Night Flight, the first half has riders directly involved in the action, but in the second half, you take a step back and play spectator to the big fight. Again, I have no problem with that because I'm a big comic book nerd and the animation is crisp. The park is home to one of the most unique flying theaters out there in Green Lantern Galactic Odyssey. Every other flying theater I've been on is a plotless showcase of beautiful sights. Again, that's not an issue considering how effective the ride system is, but for comparison, Green Lantern tries to tell a story, and that has pros and cons. On the plus side, the plot results in some wilder movements, which is pretty freaky in such an exposed ride vehicle. On the downside, this ride just didn't have the visual wows you're used to seeing on this type of ride. So ultimately, I think it was a cool twist on the ride that's becoming more common. Also in this area is Superman 360, which is one of those giant wraparound movie screens. If you're a comic book fan, this is an absolute must for you, as you see Superman pummel on his enemies. Last but not least, this area also is home to the Teen Titans Training Academy. At first glance, it appears to be just a ropes course. However, it has a treat for coaster enthusiasts, a zipline coaster. And if you've ridden the one at Rowdy Bear Mountain in Gatlinburg, it feels similar to that, except this one has more speed and swinging. And so that wraps up the park tour. I really can't emphasize this enough, but every attraction at Warner Bros. World is incredible. I'm still in awe just how well themed this park is. I love all the IPs featured at this park, so it was a dream come true to see them fully fleshed out in a theme park with this much detail. If you want thrills, Warner Bros. World is not for you. Go across the street to Ferrari World. However, if you're a fan of immersive theming and world-class dark rides, Warner Bros. World is a must. I prefer this to most of the Disney parks. That's just how amazing this place is. Have you been to Warner Brothers World? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this park down below. Subscribe for more park reviews, and thanks for listening.